the coldest place on Earth, where the cold is not just weather, but a ruthless predator that slices through flesh and bone. Temperatures can drop to -72 degrees Celsius and sometimes approach -75 degrees Celsius during the most extreme and brutal cold waves. This level of cold is colder than any household freezer, colder than even the deepest industrial freezers, colder than almost anything most people have ever experienced. At this intensity, the air itself becomes a weapon. Exposed skin suffers frostbite in just a few seconds. Eyelashes freeze solid and stick together in hard ice. Aitu, breath turns into thick white clouds that crystallize instantly in midair. And with prolonged exposure, the blood in your veins can literally begin to freeze. A large animal, like an elephant or rhinoceros, if left outside for only about 3 hours, would turn into a block of frozen meat as hard as chilled iron, its gigantic body completely drained of warmth, becoming an ice statue with no trace of life. This is a place where human existence seems impossible, yet people still live, still breathe, still eat, and endure year after year. They do not merely survive. They have built an entire way of life centered around the cold, with food, clothing, drinking water, daily habits, and even basic hygiene completely adapted to this frozen reality. But behind that adaptation is a life of misery and poverty, where everything is scarce, and every day is an exhausting battle against death by cold. Life in these small villages is an endless chain of poverty and relentless hardship, where each day is a fight against an environment like a reborn ice age, a frozen apocalypse where nature seems determined to erase all life. With only about 500 residents in each place, mostly Yakuts and Evenks, descendants of ancient nomadic tribes, the villages consist merely of clusters of old wooden houses and scattered round yurts, often filthy and dilapidated due to constant exposure to harsh weather. Roofs sag under tons of snow, walls crack from frost, interiors are dark and dirty with soot clinging like a second skin. Homes are cramped, dim, freezing. Families of 5 or 6 squeeze into just 1 or 2 rooms heated by a small stove, the air thick with coal smoke and the musty smell of damp fur. No central heating, no significant insulation, just animal hides and felt nailed to the walls, almost useless against drafts seeping through gaps. In winter, snow buries houses so deeply that people must dig tunnels or paths to get outside. Evenki families move even more frequently, dismantling and re-erecting yurts in skin-slicing cold winds, a grueling task that leaves hands numb and bodies exhausted. Food is the hardest battle. Nothing can be grown. The soil is permafrost, permanently frozen, so no vegetable gardens, no crops, no harvests. Everything depends on hunting and herding, both dangerous and uncertain. Hunters go out in blizzards with guns frozen solid, breathing on them to fire, risking their lives to hunt deer, rabbits, or birds. Reindeer or horses scrape sparse lichen from beneath the snow, often starving in lean years. Even livestock suffer. They shiver in storms, thin and weak, their bodies struggling to produce milk or meat. Herding is a luxury. Animals are precious, fed whatever little lichen can be dug up, and slaughtered only when there is no other choice. Every part is used completely. Nothing is wasted. Cooking is torment. Fuel, wood or coal, is more precious than gold. Wood is chopped from distant forests in summer and carefully rationed. Running out means freezing to death. Small stoves, low fires kept burning. Every meal must be quick to save fuel. The smell of food is often overwhelmed by thick, choking coal smoke filling the house, stinging eyes and throats. Stroganina, thinly sliced frozen raw river fish, is a daily dish. It smells intensely fishy, like fresh fish scales mixed with icy brine, tastes raw, slightly sour, sometimes metallic from blood. Preparation is difficult. Fishermen drill through 2 meters of ice by hand, hands numb even with gloves, pulling out omul or whitefish from dark water. The fish freezes solid outdoors in a few hours. Slicing requires warming the knife over fire to prevent it from shattering, cutting lengthwise for crispness. Eaten with salt, It's crunchy like ice shards, yet chewy. Fresh, yet hard to swallow for strangers. It provides omega-3 and vitamin C to prevent scurvy, but the raw fishy taste lingers like cold brine on the tongue. Con, frozen raw horse meat from young horses, smells of fresh blood, tastes sweet yet slightly gamey, like cold iron with an earthy note. The texture is slippery at first when raw, with an unpleasant blood aftertaste. Horses endure hardship, grazing frozen lichen, often underfed, shivering in blizzards. Slaughtered in autumn, the meat is rinsed with boiled snow water, a slow, fuel-consuming process. Frozen outdoors. Sliced indoors with a warmed knife, eaten with raw liver for iron. Consumed a few times a week when available, but horse meat is rare. Animals are too valuable to slaughter frequently. Con cuillure, frozen blood sausage, smells strongly of raw blood mixed with salt. Tastes dense, salty, slightly organ-like and gamey, sometimes with a faint fecal note from the intestines. Preparation is extremely difficult. Blood mixed with scarce flour, stuffed into intestines, rinsed with boiled snow water. Water is limited, so cleaning is minimal. Frozen outdoors. Eaten raw or lightly grilled, chewy and rich, essential for iron to fight anemia. But its primal taste makes many people uncomfortable. Ismin organ soup smells strongly of earth and metal, slightly gamey. Some find it revolting. Heart, liver, lungs, chopped small, simmered for hours in melted snow on the stove, fuel tightly rationed. The broth is thick and nourishing, but the organ flavor dominates.